All right, so Greg and I are still talking about truthiness. So, homestead exemption is a powerful thing here in Florida. Some people might remember that O.J. Simpson used Florida's homestead exemption to protect his assets when he was going through, his civil and criminal trials. Homestead exemption is one of those things. I get a lot of people that they don't understand what it truly is. They think they don't have to pay property taxes sometimes.
Oh, it's understandable because a lot of lawyers don't understand all the facets of it because it's not just one thing.
Okay.
The homestead protection from creditors, which is enshrined in our Constitution here, is a really wonderful benefit that Floridians get, where your primary residence is all but bulletproof from the claims of creditors out there.
Okay.
Short of things like the IRS or criminal enterprises, as long as this is your one and only primary residence, then most creditors won't be able to lien it. They won't be able to force a sale. You can give it away at death, free of those claims that you had during lifetime. So. A lot of benefits. There are ways to mess that up.
Of course.
And they may seem pretty simple. You put someone else's name on the title to your home, and all of a sudden, at least their portion that you've given to them is now not safe from the claims of creditors because it's not their primary residence, and all of a sudden you can have that creditor as a co-owner. Theoretically, they could force a sale of your home. So you want to be careful with that. You want to be careful with how you transfer these things. You don't want to have a limited liability company or a corporation owning your home because you're going to waive that protection. It's only for individuals.
Okay.
You can generally, the conventional wisdom is a living trust can own a home without violating some of those rules, but not every practitioner is comfortable with that.
Okay.
And there's some reasons not every court has spoken to it yet. So
Okay.
there's some of those issues. There are other aspects to it. The tax part of it that you mentioned, you get a nice break on those taxes, right? As long as it really is your one and only primary residence. I have sometimes clients that they have a home in one state and in Florida, and one spouse claims the exemption in that state and one here, and that's a pretty dangerous game to play. I've seen that go wrong. And you get hit with the back taxes and potentially waive some of
Both
those.
states.
Yeah, both of them don't like it. It's kind of a double whammy here.
Yes, pick one.
Not to mention that might bring you under that state's inheritance tax laws or income tax laws because you're declaring it's really your home. So you don't want to cross those wires and just be informal about all these things.
If you have to die somewhere, you want to die in Florida.
Yeah, almost every plus down here tax-wise for sure, at least.
All right. Did you cover homestead too? Is there anything else that I should protect myself from or take advantage of from a homestead?
Well, things you need to be aware of is if you're married, then that homestead, even if it's just in your name, even if you owned it before you got married, there are some rights that spouse is going to have in your property, especially that homestead, that maybe you didn't intend or maybe you don't fully understand. And short of a valid prenuptial or postnuptial agreement, those rights are going to be enshrined. And if you wanted to go ahead and just sell that property, guess what? That title company is going to want the spouse's signature on it. You want to get a mortgage, you can't do that without the spouse's approval. You want to give that away to your own children at death, that may not be possible, or at least not in the way that you expect.
So if I get married and I own a piece of property before I get married, I need to address that before I get married with my potential new spouse.
Yeah, that would absolutely be the way to do it. Get an enforceable prenuptial agreement.
Not on a napkin.
That a couple
no
of
cocktail
times.
napkins.
And not the one that's right before you say I do, and under duress. You need to really jump through those hoops. Get attorneys on both sides. Make sure that it's above board because that prenup's going to be challenged in a divorce.
Every
guaranteed.
time. Every time.
Single time. It's the first thing they do.
Right.
It doesn't always work out, but you want to make sure that that's the case. And yeah, talk it through. Get it in writing, get it witnessed, get it notarized, get it all official, and you'll be a lot happier.
I think that's a good idea. I see too many divorces, and it just gets so ugly with the house. So.
And there's divorce, and there's at death, and there's two different things on there. You're married to somebody for 5 minutes, and they have all of those marital rights at death that they would if you were married for 50 years. It's different with divorce, but you want to have both of those things in mind.
All right. Thank you.
All right.